Hi everyone, my name's Ashley, aka Stitch, and I'd like to welcome you to my Flosstube channel where I discuss all things cross stitch. If it's your first time here, I'd like to welcome you. Come in, please. Take a seat, put your feet up, have a drink, use a coaster. There you go. And if you're returning, thank you again for rewatching the first video. It really is appreciated that you enjoyed it that much to do so. So, yeah, well done you. 5 points. So, as I said, this is a channel about cross stitch. I am going to put my little disclaimer in here and say, if this ends up looking like some kind of stop motion art house movie because I've chopped it up, edited it and thrown it back together because I think that I'm Steven Spielberg, I apologise if it doesn't make any sense to anyone, but I'm trying, so yeah, hopefully. So cross stitch, my earliest memory of it in my life, barring the huge, amazingly beautiful cross stitch that my nan used to have of this country lane scene on her wall that for many years was actually bigger than me. And oh, it is beautiful. I'll have to see if I can get a photo of it for you guys. But yeah, the first kind of big moment in my life that I remember having cross stitch was in a toy store when I was a wee little boy, and my mum asked me if I wanted to pick anything up. So I walked around, had a look, found an item, went back to my mum with it, got a look I probably should have expected, but she still bought it for me because I'm her little boy and she wants to make me happy. So I then spent the rest of that day at my grandparents' in the conservatory, doing those cardboard cutout, go around the outlines with the plastic needle, jungle scene things. And I just remember loving it. I did a parrot, and I did a giraffe, and I did an elephant. And I want to say that I did like a crocodile or an alligator, but I might just be making that up, so ignore that. And then obviously I got the bug. This was it. I'd found myself. So naturally I waited another 15 years before I went back to cross stitch. Reason behind it being at the time I'd become a very heavy smoker and I wanted to have something to kind of keep my hands busy and just keep myself, like, you know, going, something I enjoy. And my sister suggested getting a craft, you know. So I went to Hobbycraft and I was looking around, lots of different things, and I came to the cross stitch kits and something clicked in the back of my brain and went, you used to love this. So I started going through some of the kits and everything and came upon this one that I saw and it just spoke to me and I had to have it. Now I'm in love with history, granted mainly mythological history, but in British history my favourite time was the Tudors and Stuarts, and I found this kit, 6 Wives of Henry VIII DMC, and I had to have it. So I thought, don't look at the price, just buy it, which should have looked at the price because it was rather expensive. Did not realise how much this addiction was going to cost to get rid of by creating another addiction. Meh. So I purchased it, got it home, opened it up, it was all ready to go, and realised I had no idea what I was doing. So I do the smart thing and call my sister and say, what do I do? And she doesn't cross stitch, you know, but she worked it out for me, and, you know, I started top left corner and carried on, and then after about a week in, I wasn't enjoying it. I'd got to the point where it was kind of like, do you know when you jam puzzle pieces into places that they're not supposed to go? It was kind of like that, but with cross stitch, and I was just, I was just trying to get it done, and it got to the point where the Ada was stretching and ripping and the threads were ripping, and I started swearing more than a Darcy Cameron would in a YouTube video. But it got to the point where I was like, no, I can't do this, just go away, I'll find something else to get rid of my addiction. So I then moved forward another couple of years, and not that this was to get rid of the addiction, but I was back out, and I found again, surprisingly, the same hobby craft, the 6 Wives of Henry VIII DMC set, remembering and thinking it really was a shame, you know. And then I looked at it and it was half the price, and my brain went, do it, just do it. So I did it. I got it home, and then again, naturally, I waited 2 years before I picked it up. I did. I was doing quite well with it, in all honesty, you know. At this point, I'd not got hoops. I didn't know what a Q-snap was. So I'm literally just sat there stitching the 6 Wives of Henry VIII by hand. And then going really, really well. Then about a month or so in, something's not right. What's not right? Ah, that line there is out. It's gonna make a big impact on the picture. So, gonna need to frog it. I didn't frog it. I just got rid of it because I sat staring at it and I was so disappointed that it had taken me that long. I mean, it just, yeah, it was enough. It was enough. So at that point, I put it to one side and was like, I'll do it. I promise. Scouts on, yeah. So I put it to one side and then just forgot again about it. Then a few years pass again, and this was probably about 2 and a bit years ago now. I was just sat watching random prank compilations on YouTube, or how it's made on YouTube, or probably another drag queen lip sync compilation video on YouTube, and this video came up as suggested. So I thought, okay, I'll go and have a look. Wow. I found Flosstube. So here is where I'm going to do my first shout out. Apart from mentioning Darcy previously, but Darcy's just part of our world now, and we all have to accept that. Anyway, no, seriously, I would like to mention, shout out this person, Crafty Lisa, the first person I ever watched, and my God, some of the stuff that she works on, the Mirabilias, the Steam Heart, the Hawkron Hollow. I mean, whether she's at home or on the East Coast in the caravan with the dog, oh, love the dog. She is just a joy to watch and a pleasure, and she really was someone who, I mean, I hadn't picked up cross stitch for ages before watching her video, and at that point I already knew exactly what I was going to do. I'd already decided after watching 6 of her episodes that I'm going to be a floss tuber. I'm going to be a floss tuber. So 2 years later, I'm here attempting to be a floss tuber. But yeah, I just wanted to say, Lisa, thank you so much. I know she's not been around a lot recently, but she has started coming back, so fingers crossed she stays around, because, not that I want to say that I am, but I think I'm your #1 fan. But let's leave that there before I start fangirling out. Right. So, as I said, she sparked something inside me, at which point I mean, I went trawling through the internet to find something I'd like, and being so picky as I am, I could not. So I made a decision. I went online, I bought myself a load of blank white 14 count Ada, and a big huge bag of mixed threads. I go through and I'd look for some free patterns and things and ideas, and instead of like telling myself I'm going to start a big piece and then possibly losing the stitchy bug, and as we do, so yeah, I decided I was just gonna get some of my own pieces. Now, while I started talking about them, let's just move into them. Here we go. Now, another disclaimer in here. Well, not so much a disclaimer, just sorry-ish. When I started, I didn't really start doing these to frame. I just did them because I wanted to. So, piece number 1. It's me. Yeah, I like colour. That's my main kind of prerequisite for picking up any kind of cross stitch. I just like a mix of colour. So what better way to show that than with my name and who I am, which was lovely. Obviously, stats here. This is 14 count white Ada with a lovely red, orange, yellow, green, blue and purple thread. No idea what colours, because I just have no idea. Right, moving on to the next one. Just going to put this out there. 14 count white Ada. Did you have it? Okay. It's the turtles. And I just, yeah, I'm a proper geek for nostalgia, my own nostalgia. And yeah, big fan of, surprisingly, cartoons of the 80s and 90s. And a bit further back as well, but you'll learn. I apologise in advance. So yeah, that's those kind of the first 2 little bits that I did. Then came the piece that changed my life. Now, some of you may or may not have noticed this about me, but I am a little bit of a nerd at heart. Well, no, I like to refer to it as geek chic. So, yeah, little story background for this. I was online just looking at random stuff to do, really, and I found a picture, and I went to look at it, and it froze on my screen. As it froze, it pixelated. So, do not know whether it was the right thing to do or not, but I screenshotted it. And once I screenshotted it, I had this pixelated picture, which lovely kind of gave me a cross stitch pattern of sorts. So with my nerdiness all in its abundance, I decided I've got Ada, I've got thread, I've got time, I could do this. So I went round and did the entirety of the black outlines first, just so then after that it would be easier, I'd be able to colour in. So without further ado, geekiness coming, here we go. My Eevees. I'm a big Pokemon fan. I don't really do the Pokemon Go though. I mean, I started when it first came out and everything, but no disrespect, it just tore my battery out of my phone, and I just couldn't see the point after a while. So yeah, but yeah, I've always played the games. I've watched the original TV series. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's too many now to name, but yeah, I saw it and thought I need to do it, so I did. I mean, I've still got bits to do and I've still got decisions to make on it. As you can tell, it's going to be very hard to frame if I choose to. I was thinking of possibly giving it to my nephew. I mean, Pokemon is something that we both enjoy, although he's now a grown-up, so I'll probably just keep it for myself. But yeah, that is one of the pieces that just kind of pulled me back in. So moving swiftly on, this next piece was one that was purchased for me by my other half, Christmas just gone, because he's just the most amazing person in the world. And this is the Riolis. I'm not sure what the actual pattern's called. It says number 57 PT, but it's this beautiful, beautiful dragon. Like I said, I love colour, and this was just right up my alley. Love a bit of mythological history, as I said, and what's more mythological than a dragon, even though it's a reptile, and we still do kind of have reptiles, but it's a conversation for another day. It's done on 14 count Zweigart Ada fabric. It's lovely. The background is printed, which was appreciated, to be honest. But this is how far we've got so far. There are a couple of little bits where I thought I knew what I was doing and counted across, and I clearly haven't, so I do have to go back and sort that out. But yeah, I made a little bit of an inroad on that one, which was quite nice. So this next piece, some of you are probably expecting, some of you may not be. If you're not, why not? Because as we all know, third time's a charm. But I did it again. I saw it online. Someone was selling it cheap, and I thought, you know what, he and these ladies deserve more respect, so I decided, let's do it. Now it's 16 count Ada, as it says on the back, with DMC threads. I would say it'd be DMC threads as it's created by DMC, I assume. But yeah, so I haven't ironed anything because I'm too scared. But we have the lovely start of it there, at least. I know you can see right through it because I forgot to put it up with a board, but hey ho, such is life. So we've got Catherine of Aragon there, a bit of Boleyn, and some of Jane Seymour. Did the majority of the border first because, you know, you like to know how big it is. And I just have to make sure that I pay really close attention this time. But yeah, I had to have it. Like I say, third time's a charm. So I'm giving it another go. My next one, I'm actually going to preface with something. I was watching another Flosstuber, surprisingly, because we're all here to enable each other. And she put up one of her stitches, and I just thought, oh, well, that's nice. Oh, I'll take a look at that artist. Now, the Flosstuber in question is Crafty Emily, who, again, some amazing pieces. Obviously, not just pieces, she's got her own Etsy shop, which I can't remember right now, so I will put down in the link. And yeah, she showed these beautiful, beautiful books that I saw and just had to. So I got Cross Stitch for the Earth, which Emma Congdon, just wow. Thank you for putting these into the world. They are some of the most beautiful cross stitch patterns I've ever seen. But the one I'm about to show you comes from Cross Stitch for the Soul, because how can cross stitch be anything but good for the soul? He says, knowing how much he spent on cross stitch. But yes, I'm doing this one for my sister who recently moved house, because I didn't want to buy her a gift, because I'm really bad at buying gifts. Normally, if I don't know, you'll probably just get a voucher. So this one, I asked her to pick it out, and it's the one that she picked, so I'm doing it. It's surprisingly 14 count Ada, white Ada, with a couple of call for flosses, but in all honesty, I just went into my pack and I pulled out the ones that look closest to it. I'm what I refer to as a rustic stitcher. I don't know if that makes any sense or computes at all, but I just do what I can as I can. You're supposed to enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, there are certain things that I will stick to if I feel that it requires, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm just doing something that I'm without a kit, I will throw it together from what I've got. So this one is called Be Yourself. And once it's actually fully complete, it will say, always be yourself, because the people that matter don't mind, and the ones that mind don't matter. Completely my sister to a T. Always been herself. One of the mental apples that fell from the tree, but I mean, I'm a sibling, I'm not that far off. So yeah, that's something I did for her. Well, I'm doing for her. It's still a work in progress, but there are other patterns in these books that I plan to do for other people. So many projects at the moment, a couple to start still, but yeah, that's kind of all of my current showable whips. So I want to throw a little bit of something in here. I mentioned my showable whips. There is a reason I have unshowable whips. Story behind it being that when I first decided to start doing a floss tube, I didn't want to just have a couple of items to show. So I went out and purchased a few. I then got them back, started them to a certain point so I could show them as works in progress. And the day before I started filming, I was watching a floss tube, at which I found out that there's a certain supplier that's going through a current situation regarding copyright of artists' work, and them using it without consent, shall we say. So the issue I had was the fact that all of these kits that I'd gone out and brought were from this supplier, which is gutting, knowing that I've put a lot of work into them and currently I'm not able to show them. I didn't know whether to or not, so I did ask in the community, and everyone came back and said kind of, just in case, don't, you know. So maybe in the future, maybe they'll be pulled out and shown, but at the moment, I mean, being an artist myself, I'd hate if someone stole my work and passed it off as their own. So in support of them, I'm going to do the right thing and just not show. But as I say, in the future, who knows. Finally, I want to finish with the only FFO that I actually have here. I do have a few others that I've given away as gifts. 2 that I want to mention, and I will see if I can get pictures. The first one was one for my niece, the apple of my eye. She is the most amazing, beautiful little thing in the world. I did one for her for Christmas just gone, which was a lovely pattern of just a sleeping baby, with a bit of holly around it with some baubles and some little golden booties, which I found, which was lovely. The other one I did was actually for a group of friends of mine who are known online as Flintlocks and Fireballs. They are a D&D team doing a campaign currently that you can find all across the internet. I will put links below. Yeah, and their take on the world that's being created is amazing. there's Scamp, there's Celestia Stardust, there's Causing Horhace, and the misadventures of these people really are gripping. And if you've got any inclination, I mean, or any kind of, I don't even know what the word is, any kind of interest, that's the word, towards Dungeons and Dragons, I would suggest giving them a listen. While you're stitching in the background, I mean, they really are an amazing group of people who put everything they've got into creating this. So as a thank you, I got a copy of their logo and I turned it into a cross stitch kit and I stitched it for them. I will hopefully now put a picture in here. I don't know if it was there or not. If it is, it is. If it's not, I'm really sorry that it's not there, but I'll put a link below to it. Yeah, they're kind of my finishes. The only one that I've actually got with me is one I did for my mum for Mother's Day last year. I decided I didn't want to buy another candle or another set of smelly bar stuff, or as we said before, I'm not good with presents. So I stitched and I did a kind of family crossword, just of everyone, and then the dog, and the lovely little rainbow quote there says, like branches on a tree, we grow in different directions, yet our roots remain as one. And I did that for my mum, framed it and gave it to her, and then I've taken it back because I bit the bullet and attempted to iron out the crease. It's not fully worked, but I've tried, so I'm going to give it back to her, and it's the thought that counts. I mean, the crease is not really showable, but, you know, I know it's there, which is the issue. But yeah, that's my FFO for my mum. I was going to do a haul bit here, but I really, it's a couple of bits of Ada and some floss, so there's really not anything to show right now. So yeah, I'm gonna come to a close now. I don't know how often these are going to be put out. I'm going to attempt for once a month. I mean, there's no point in me doing it weekly. I don't stitch enough in a week. I'm a very slow stitcher because I do it at my convenience, which in all honesty is how it should be. I mean, it's supposed to be a hobby. It's not supposed to be a job. We're supposed to enjoy it. So yeah, looking at a month to putting these out. So yeah, I'd want to thank you all for joining me on my little adventure. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please feel free to do the usual thing of like and comment and subscribe, because I hate asking people for things. So if you want to, please do. If you don't, you don't have to. Just enjoy the videos. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you all next month.